I've had a couple people ask me questions over the last couple of days that were related to the same topic. One of them was, does God give us premonitions to prepare us or to warn us of something bad that's going to happen? Another one is, does God give us dreams to warn us of, I had a dream of someone I know and they died, and what am I supposed to do with something like that? From my experience and in my opinion, from the things that I have gone through and how I would embrace or talk somebody through this, I would say that those are not things that are from God. That would be an example of our enemy, the devil, attempting to offer up an alternate, negative, destructive, death-filled future that he would want us to focus on and embrace, instead of turning to the reality of God, as how he's revealed himself to us as the one who brings us truth, the one who brings us life, the one who points us in good directions and says, I've got a hope for you and a future, and I've got good plans, and I'm thinking good thoughts towards you, and in my way there's blessing. The enemy wants to get us sidetracked and to be thinking about, a future that does not include any of God's blessings or God's hand or God's protection. And if we give ourselves to worrying about that, we're putting our faith in that junk. And in reality, what God's wanting us to do is to put our trust and our hope in him and what he says is true about us and who we are and our identity in him. And most, if not every time, when I would have a bad feeling or have a bad dream about a loved one, something bad happening, I wake up and the first thing I do is I reject anything that's not from you, Jesus, and I lay this at your feet, and I submit it to your word, and I submit it to your truth. And then I'll usually talk to Joni, and I'll say, hey, I had this dream or this feeling, and I just felt it made me feel sick, and it made me feel the temptation to be scared, and so we'll pray together, and in engaging in prayer, saying, I reject that, and I embrace God and your truth for me. Because I want to receive God's future for me, and I don't want to dwell on all the what is going to happen tomorrow, or maybe this is going on, maybe God's trying to warn me. That's not what God does to us. God gives us a hope and a future, and he points us on his straight path and invites us to walk with him to receive his blessing and to be people who minister and share and serve others, giving the life that he's given to us to them too. And if this is something you'd like to talk more about, I love talking about this kind of stuff, because not because I want to go get into the weeds about all the spooky stuff, but because I love to kind of help people get directed back to the straight path of God's truth and of God's word and of God's promises and what he says about us. And it helps us to know that every thought that comes towards me is not something I have to embrace. Every time something is suggested to me, I don't have to say, well, I guess, we'll just see what happens. Now, those kind of the negative, the death, the fearful ones, those are the ones, it's like taking a shoe and whacking that scorpion in your garage. Just get rid of it and say, Jesus, what you've got for me, that's what I want. God bless you. Have a great rest of your week.